Welcome to this post-Super Bowl It's a Sports Show, possibly the last It's a Sports Show. Details to follow. We're working on something bigger and better. My name is Dolphin Paul, and if there's a big smile on my face, it's because of this past weekend's game. But we have a special guest today, Paul French, the man who usually makes it happen behind the scenes, has been kind enough to join us today. He's a big Patriot fan, so we'll get his perspective instead of having none to it. He's still wearing a hat, so I give him credit for that.
Pride, Paul. Gotta have pride.
And Paulie, obviously, Patriot Nation took a big hit this weekend. There's a big, I mean, it's kind of shocking. It's shocking to me. I'm sure it's shocking to a lot of people. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people assumed it was 19-0 history, ended the 72 Dolphins, and I mean, let's get right to the game. I mean, what's your take? I mean, we'll get to the legacy and what this game means and all that, but we should probably start off with the game itself, which was a little bit boring at the beginning, but it was it was a good football game.
A 10-minute drive can do that. A 10-minute drive, grinding it out, can make for a boring game. It's not the Redskins with Williams throwing the 80-yard touchdown pass, but they got beat. They got beat. There's no doubt about it. They didn't play well. The offensive line didn't play well. The defense, I think, played well, honestly.
I would agree with you. I mean, I think the defense, I mean, it was 7-3 at the half. I think the defense, even though I've always said this, taking my bias away from it or trying, that this might not be the greatest team of all time because their defense wasn't dominant, but they were very good. And I mean, if I told people this, if we had said, hey, the Giants are going to score 17 points, I think everybody would have went out and got a home loan and put it down and said it's a done deal. I mean, I would have said it. I would have said absolutely. If the Giants going to score 17, give me whatever on the Patriots. So the defense, I would agree with you, save for that last drive, which was unfortunate, I think kind of hung in there and played pretty well.
No, that last drive, that was the killer. That's the one that killed them. That catch, Tyree. Off his helmet. That's
going to live in infamy, that catch. I mean, as far as Super Bowl highlights go.
That's the ball through the legs, 86.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They had him in the grasp, couldn't bring him down.
You're still hurting.
Yeah.
But I mean, I bring all these things to light. I'm sure you don't want to hear it as a Patriot fan, but it's kind of like how the Patriots beat other teams.
Yes.
And it's always been great to be on the other side of that, I would imagine, as a Patriot. I know nothing about that because we stink. But, I mean, Patriots have always been on the other side of that. They've always made a play no matter what it was, and people have said it's lucky, this and that. But Patriots have found a way. And you know what? I mean, they've been in 4 Super Bowls, and unbelievably, all of them have been decided by 3 points.
Right.
I mean, which I think is amazing. But I think, not to get too, as bad, or I shouldn't say as bad because we'd be taking too much credit away from the Giants, but as maybe inconsistent as the Patriots played or didn't play like they've been playing all year, I mean, they had the lead with 2 minutes to go.
Yes,
I mean, to their credit, with 2 minutes, if you take 2 minutes away from that game.
There was an eerie feeling, though. With that 2 and change.
With 2 and change.
There was an eerie feeling because of the way the game
You didn't
went.
feel comfortable?
Not at all. I tell you, I didn't feel comfortable going into the game at all. After that last game, they played the Giants. I was uncomfortable. The Giants were on a roll. They're on the road. They're beating them. And history repeats itself. And I don't know if you remember, Patriots fans, but about, 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
2001.
2001. Well, wow, 7 years ago.
Yeah, Rams. I talk about the Rams.
Yeah, and it was the same story.
Very ironic. Yeah. Very ironic how those 2 games, you had the greatest show on turf.
Right, yep.
The Patriots
scoring
coming
points.
In. Yeah, and nobody gave them a chance because of their talent. They've won a few games to get here.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like the opposite. A lot of people didn't believe it, but you know what? I mean, I think the real crux of the game, and you'd probably agree with me, the real crux of the game was the Giants' defensive line. I mean, the first play of the game, they put Tom Brady on his rear end.
Yes.
That set the tone. And you know what? That front 4, I think there's one time in Super Bowl history where I think it was the Cowboys where they had co-defensive MVPs.
Yeah.
Those guys, that defensive line could have been MVP because they did a tremendous job. They didn't allow Brady to move in and out of the pocket. Maybe his ankle was a slight factor, but I don't know if he could have moved around, man. They came in from outside, inside. They had a good push. They harassed the crap out of him, and that goes to show. I don't care who you are, you're Joe Montana, greatest quarterback ever, man. You get put on your butt enough times, those throws start to miss. He had Moss a couple times where he was perfect earlier in the year. He overthrew some guys.
They knew that pressure was the key. And everybody said it. It was said all week that getting pressure on Tom Brady was the key to the whole thing. And they got pressure on him. They pressured him, I think it was like 26 times.
Yeah, he got knocked down like 18, I believe they said knockdowns, which is unbelievable. But, everybody talks about pressuring Brady, but it's one thing to talk about, it's another thing to do it.
Yeah, no, the offensive line, I don't know where they went.
Which has been good all year. A couple of Pro Bowlers there going to Hawaii. I don't know if they're going to go in disguise or not. I play the Patriots offensive line. I'm in the Pro Bowl.
There's got to be 3 guys on the line with brown bags on their heads. 3 of them. It was terrible.
I think that was essentially the thing of the game.
No protection.
Course, the last 2 minutes of Patriots defense, missed a couple tackles.
Yeah,
and again, let's call it like it is. That one play.
That was a play. That
basically cost the Patriots a Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
And when I watched that again, and I'm sure Patriot fans watch it going, tackle him, because I know I've done that.
Yeah.
I stayed awake in the middle of the night going, tackle him. I'm like, the game's over. And they just almost had him.
Yep.
Maybe another hand and the whistle might have blown, and he gets out of there.
Yeah.
Basically throws it up, and Tyree catches it on his helmet, like it was super glue. So.
Falling down backwards on his helmet, and he maintained it. That's destiny. That's what that is.
Well, I mean, that's like I said,
is.
the Patriots have been on the other side of that, and unfortunately for them, I just think the problem with this game is what it meant, and we'll get to that, I think, in the next segment. There's something else I want to talk about regarding the game, and that is Belichick and the strategy and the out-coaching, which most people have been talking about. For instance, I'm going to stop backwards. The last Giants touchdown, why was Ellis Hobbs, and now it comes out that he was hurt, which is fine, but why was he placed on an island with Plaxico Burress, who was the best receiver the Giants have? I mean, that was an easy play. That was like a play out in the street.
Yeah.
I mean, he went in, he went out. I mean, Hobbs wasn't even.
He faked him out.
That could have been a bad throw. It didn't matter because Plaxico still got it. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because the Patriots, offensively didn't look like themselves. People are now criticizing Daniels. They're criticizing. I don't know what you thought about that non-field goal. So.
Oh, the 4th and 13.
The 4th and 13.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand why you would go at 4 and 13. But believe me, Belichick had it this year where they could have got a 4th and 13. He didn't have confidence in Gostkowski. I don't know why.
Yeah, see, I'm not as critical of him as other people. I know other people are adamant he should have kicked the field goal there, but
it's tough.
Here's the problem.
Call.
You're at the 31-yard line. Obviously, you can't punt because you're not going to gain anything because a lot of times that goes into the end zone and it goes back to the 20, so you gain 10 yards.
Right.
I mean, I understand what people say. If you miss the field goal, you only give up 7 yards. But, the Giants were moving the ball. Maybe he was afraid of that. And you know what? Belichick maybe is one of his faults might be he hangs on to things. For instance, and I'm not talking about, he's obviously great at going from game to game one day at a time. But Gostkowski had, like you said, kicked the ball out of bounds.
Yeah,
so maybe he thought, hey, you know what? This guy, this stage maybe is a little big for him. Maybe they didn't have confidence in the kick. And I agree with people say get another kicker. But I don't have as big a problem as other people do with him not going for the field goal there. You got the greatest offense, of all time, statistically speaking. Anyway,
I understand that.
And
but it's about points though, and knowing that every game he's been in the Super Bowl has been 3 points.
Yeah.
You got to go.
And 4th and 13 is a big.
It's a big chunk.
It's a big chunk, and it's not like they were moving the ball all over the place. So, but I mean, I think they took a lot of heat with not getting enough people to protect.
Yes.
He's famous for halftime adjustments. A lot of people didn't seem to see that.
Well, he might have missed the walkthrough. He might have missed the Giants walkthrough.
Yeah, that's a good point. They didn't film the Giants walkthrough.
They must have missed
that. Boyfriend. Let me mark that. That's something else we can talk about. Cheating.
That's not true.
Wow, that comes from a Patriot fan. That wasn't me.
That's a joke. The whole thing's a joke.
No, but I mean, overall, the general theme of it, there's a million sports shows out there, and I'm sure everybody's heard all the different. The general theme is it didn't look like a regular Patriots game. If this is the first Patriots game you've seen, you'd say, that team's okay.
Yeah, they're going to be okay. They're a little old on the defensive side. Their offensive line is okay. They're a little soft. That's what you would be saying.
Right.
But they weren't all year. They were not that soft. They how many times was Brady sacked?
Oh,
like I believe it was
very
8
few,
times.
very few, and everybody
All
was
season.
talking about this being one of the greatest offensive lines of all time.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and that gets me to the next point. Is I mean, listen. I've taken a lot of stuff all year because my Dolphins stink, and I realize that. It's
Yes.
been a tough football year for me, but because I stick my head out so far, yeah, I took it. Hey, listen.
We all do.
Hey, make fun of the Dolphins, whatever, but, I mean, we kept being pounded with, the 72 Dolphins. Hey, listen.
Yeah, I know.
I believe the last show we did, I said I got a Mercury Morris shirt when I was 8 or 9 years old. He's not the best spokesman of the 72 Dolphins.
No.
I understand how the 72 Dolphins could get on people's nerves. Believe me, I do. But you know what? That's all I got right now. Is the
hang on to
undefeated
it.
season
That's
of 72. And all year it's been, Dolphins, forget about the Dolphins. All year pounded. So, I mean, I just think the difference between winning and losing this game, and correct me if I'm just being a biased Dolphin fan here, is humongous. I mean, you're talking
There's no doubt.
arguably, and I say arguably because there's a lot of great teams. Greatest team of all time, that's out the window.
Yeah.
Greatest quarterback of all time, that might be out the window. It probably will because, let's face it, Montana didn't lose one.
Right.
Greatest offensive line, we talked about that. People were saying, hey, this could be one of the best put together offensive lines of all
Right.
time.
The scheme.
They would be immortal. They would be on Mount Rushmore. And to lose now,
They would.
It's a big fall. It's similar to my Dolphins going 0-16 and 1-15. It's
Right.
in other words, that as far as history goes,
Yeah.
that's such a huge gap. And I think that's probably what hurts the most from a Patriot fan point of view, because it's like, hey, we could have stood alone on top of the NFL mountain. I mean, would you agree with that kind of?
As a Patriots fan, that doesn't bother me as much as actually losing the game and losing the Super Bowl. That's all speculation. Was Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, who was the greatest? Montana. It's all speculation.
Right, but you definitely would have been in that stratosphere, though.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, you're mentioned that way. But now we're just 18-1.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you're the
else.
only 18-1 team to lose the Super Bowl. So,
Right.
I mean, I just think because, and believe me, I try to put myself from another fan's, from another team, put myself in a perspective. If my team was in the Super Bowl 18-0 and lost a game, I try to sit back and think, man, wow. I mean, this is a tough loss, and I'm not trying to rub it in or anything.
Oh, no, you are.
No. I just think from a historical perspective, I think that's why fans are so down, because it hurts so much because we're 18-0. And let's face it, 95% of the public, I'm sure 95% of the Pats fans, rightfully so. I'm not saying, cocky or whatever. You know what? If you're 18-0, you deserve to be cocky. I joke about pompous, arrogant, but you know what? 18-0. Sure, you should have your fun with it.
Yes.
I think everybody just expected the Patriots to almost roll, but at least win the game.
Yes. Well, I think what hurts more is that the Dolphins are allowed to be the only undefeated team again.
That's part of it. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes. I don't like it. And I will root against them. Anybody else who's going to go undefeated, I will root for. And because I guess it's because it irritated me this year, the way they are. I hate the idea that they break open champagne every time a team.
I broke open champagne.
And, I respect Bonacotti. I respect Zonka. I can't stand Morris. And Don Shula, I'm kind of a little tarnished on this year, too, as well, because of his comments.
Well, I think Mercury Morris is a character, and I think the media, of course, played on that.
Yeah,
they put his face out there. Everybody wanted to interview him all of a sudden because they knew they were going to get a good soundbite.
Yeah, it's like they take the senior citizen bus, they put him on the bus for a certain amount of time, and then he's back on the shelf for another whole year. We won't see him until probably October, November next year.
Well, like people said, if the Patriots had won,
it's over.
Nobody would interview him ever again.
Nobody would know.
No, and I understand that, and I think that's part of the deal. I mean, the Dolphins are obviously a divisional rival, and I'm sure people thought for sure that this was the end of the 72 Dolphins, and unfortunately, like I said, I was only 8 years old at the time, but right now that's all I got. I mean, we
So I got a question for you. How do you think this is going to affect next year's team? Now you look at it, and all of a sudden they got old fast, real fast. Junior Seau, Bruschi, even Vrabel. Now he's going to be on the other side.
Well, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. Those guys, who knows what they're thinking is as far as retirement.
Right.
I mean, how much better would it be to retire 19-0. I mean, you
Yeah.
walk away from the game
absolutely.
as king. I don't
There's
care
a
what
bad
position
taste.
you play. Absolutely. So now you got Brewski, who's up there. Now Seau is up there. I mean, all these guys could come back and play at least a role,
Right.
if not a starting role, because they've done a tremendous job. I think the big question, of course, with the Patriots is Asante Samuel.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, he's going to want a boatload of money.
Right.
Randy Moss, now
He's gonna want money.
he's going to want money, and the free agent wide receivers I've
Right.
looked at already is very weak.
Yes. Yes, it is.
You know, so
But I say you pay him. We have to pay him. The only thing I worry about with Randy Moss is he was sweet this year. He faded towards the end of the year. So what happens now?
I agree. I mean, that's another thing I was going to bring up. Whether it was by design or not, I mean, Randy Moss was almost invisible during these playoffs.
Yes, he was.
And you're going to have to pay this guy. I believe if they franchise him, and I don't know if they can. I think he had something in his clause where he becomes a free agent before they can franchise. I'm not sure on that, so I'm
Right.
not going to get into that. But
Right.
if they franchise him, it's slightly under $8 million. And,
Right.
and you know, Randy Moss, listen, you know, these players, they love for the Patriots, win championships, but they
Right.
also like the greenback.
Oh,
and quite
absolutely.
frankly, I don't blame him.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know if he'd be happy with the franchise tag and say, listen, I want an extension of 2-3 years. I've
Right.
got 20-something touchdowns. I got all these records. I want to be paid. You know,
I
I
think
want a
they sign him.
guarantee of. Okay, you think they
I
sign him?
do. I really do.
Dante Stallworth's probably out because they're going to owe him $6 or $7
Yeah.
million this year.
Yeah,
I don't think you can pay both of those.
Especially
guys.
with in the background, Chad Johnson's talking about how much he loves Bill Belichick and how he wants to come to the Patriots now. So that's in the back of their minds. Plus, they have a first-round pick, a high first-round pick. On top of that,
This is my opinion. They're definitely going to be good. I mean, they're definitely, you know, considering the division that they're in with the Jets, Buffalo, Miami, all struggling. I mean, you would think they're going to be good. I just think, in my opinion, that so many things happened right for them this year.
yeah.
I mean, they had the perfect team, per se, to do this all over again. And I'm not even saying go 18-0, but just to get all the pieces together right and
Yes.
play perfect and blow teams out and run up the
Right.
score, if you will, whatever, and come back is just so hard to do. So I think...
especially in this day and age of video and film and just
Oh, it's
all
so-
that,
it's-
because
it's unbelievable.
the first 10 games they blew everybody out, and then the next 5 or 6 they weren't blowing them out. They everybody adjusted to this team, and they adjusted to the schemes, and then Baltimore had success. So now you watch Baltimore's film.
Yeah.
Now everybody else is.
You get into the playoffs,
Philadelphia.
there's better teams. Let's face
Yeah,
it. That's why they're in the
absolutely.
playoffs. So you can't.
Right.
And and another point I think we should mention. This has always happened throughout history, and it happens to in football, basketball, baseball a little bit. You have a good defense, usually will beat
You win.
the big time
Right,
offense.
right.
Usually, I mean, the Vikings. Nobody talks about the Vikings, just like the Patriots this year.
Yeah.
When Randy Moss was on the Vikings, they were 15-1.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Patriots broke all their records,
Right.
but they lost that game. So, I mean, you got to have a balance. You got to have some luck, but sometimes
Yeah.
a good defense, if you at least have that, sometimes you always have a chance. So
I think that's what the big difference in the Patriots team next year is going to be. Is going to be their defense. I think there's going to be some turnover. Absolutely.
Oh, I would agree with you because, number one, if Asante Samuel goes and he's going to want a lot of money,
Right.
whether he's worth it or not, I don't know, but he certainly has a leverage in the NFL because cornerbacks are rare,
Right.
good cornerbacks, so he's going to get
Absolutely.
paid. Hobbs on the other side, let's face it, he
Yeah.
didn't have a great year.
No.
They're saying he's hurt. You could give him the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Harrison is still
Yeah.
good, but
Yeah, he
let's
is.
face it, he's no
Right.
spring chicken.
He might be a dime guy.
Yeah,
Get him in
maybe
on
a
the
dime guy. Merriweather, whether he'll fill that role,
Right.
we'll see.
I think
and you
he
talked
looks
about
good.
the linebacking core.
That's the one right
So
there.
I
They've
think
gotten old.
their
Fast.
defensive line is intact.
Yep.
I just think that backfield from the defensive line out, I agree
Right.
with you. There's going to be some turnover there. They don't have a ton of money in the cap. They got to re-sign some guys. So I think it'll be an interesting offseason. And again,
definitely.
they'll be in the mix. But boy, I'll tell you what, if they were to go to the Super Bowl again next year, I mean, that'd be the greatest tribute to them. I mean, they're favored right now. Las Vegas has put them as a favorite. But
Of course.
I just think this is this loss would suck the life out of anyone. And if they can put it behind them and move on, hey.
I
power
think
to
that's the one thing that I feel like I have confidence in is that they will come back. I don't think Belichick will allow them not to. He's that kind of leader. I don't think anything's been tarnished off of him. He just had a bad game plan. That's all it was. But what bothers me is he stuck to it. At the end of the game,
which is odd.
39 seconds, 3 timeouts, and they're throwing Hail Marys.
Yeah.
They're throwing deep passes. With 39 seconds, you can get, I feel they could have got to at least the 30.
Well, a try, a field goal try.
Yeah.
Even if it was 55 yards, a try is a try is a try.
Right.
I mean, that's better than, I agree with you. And then if you throw one Hail Mary, the defense says, okay, this is what they're going to do. So the defense just says, let's go after him. And they hit him again.
Right.
Even though he got the passes off, they just pounded him again.
You're telling me that it wasn't soft in the middle? The zone wasn't soft in the
with
middle?
3 timeouts, right. I mean, you need 2-3 passes. It's tough. It's not easy because I'm sure the Giants D was playing that type of defense. But, I would kind of agree. It was just an odd game overall. I think the whole coaching staff and I don't know what happened. Like you said, I mean, that walkthrough just makes a big difference when you don't film that.
That's right, yeah. It's not pretty.
Well, how do you feel about Belichick at the end of the game? You think that's a big deal?
No, I think he paid respect to Coughlin. There was a second left on the clock.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about how he walked over, hugged him, talked to him. There was a second on the clock. He got his respect.
Yeah, but I think the referee went over to him and said, listen, got a second on the clock. I think he should have went back to the sidelines and went with his team. I mean, I'm not saying it's a huge deal. And listen, he loses on the football field like I lose on a golf course. I know it's hard, but I mean, you've got to show grace in winning and grace in losing. He did give Coughlin his respect, but he kind of blew off, carried the official, and went to the tunnel, which,
people don't like him. People are never going to like him.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean,
everything he does.
I agree with a lot of people. Hey, listen, you know what? I don't care what my coach does.
Yeah.
Like when you get a new coach, and Miami has had a few in the past few years where they've had tough, easy coaches. To me, I'm like, I don't care what the method is.
Just win.
Just get me some wins.
That's
I don't care what the method is. Cody, how much time we got? 8 minutes. Wow, we.
So I have a question for you then, with respect.
Another question.
I love digging into your mind.
Be careful what you might find.
Now,
nothing.
What is it that Richard Seymour brings out in people that makes them so angry and hateful? Brendan Jacobs. Did you hear that quote?
Yeah.
What is that about? What does he do that makes him so angry? They say he's cheap. I haven't seen it. I'm a Patriots fan. I understand that. But I don't understand what brought that out. And nobody's talking about how ugly and unsportsmanlike that is.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know exactly what happened. They're saying that he's kind of I guess he cheats in the pile. Not cheats. I shouldn't say cheat.
Goodness.
I don't want to say cheat because that's the wrong word. I mean, cheating is another different thing. But I mean, the players have their own code of conduct on the field and stuff like that. I mean, I think the general theme is that the Patriots have metamorphosed themselves. I don't know if that's a metamorphosis. Yeah, it's kind of a guess.
I don't know if that's
or
a word.
morphed themselves into the lovable underdog to the big bully on the block. So, I don't know if you agree with that.
Oh, no, I do. And
I think when they win, people just like, and then, whether it's human nature or not, maybe the Patriots were a little smug. Maybe they were confident. They should be, but, people get tired of hearing the team thing and this and that. And, I mean, the Patriots aren't absolved from any trash talk, and they're trash talkers. They're football players just like everybody else. So,
everybody is, absolutely.
I mean, Wolford poked the guy in the eye. Yeah, let's face it, Rodney Harrison, and I've met Rodney Harrison in the local area at a golf shop.
Oh, really?
Talked to him, I mean.
They say he's a nice guy, except for when he's on the field.
Yeah, I mean, Rodney Harrison was like, I had a Dolphin hat on. This was like in the middle of, I shouldn't say in the middle of the winter because he'd be playing, but this was like, they hadn't made the Super Bowl. This was, off season in the winter. There was nobody in the store. And he, I kind of shook his hand and talked to him and stuff. I said, you know what, just seems personable.
Yeah.
He's a guy who, if he's on your team, it's like, hey, right, if he's on his team, you're like, you.
Yeah.
Because he's always got that extra elbow. But
I know.
I mean, I think that's the crux of what happened. I don't know, Seymour. I don't know. He's kind of taking some hits here, and you know what? I don't know. How do you feel about the issue? I mean, he doesn't seem to be as dominating as he was.
He had off-season knee surgery.
Okay.
And he missed, I believe, half the season.
Yeah,
almost.
That's true. He missed the first 6 weeks. He was on the PUP list.
He wasn't into his groove. I don't think he had made into his groove. I think it was a lost season for him. I think he comes back next year and has a much better season.
I mean, I think that that and Brandon Jacobs, that's all just trash talking. Because of what happened the last time.
Well, it's just I'm whining right now.
Yeah,
everybody's talking about Belichick and nobody's talking about. But
I don't blame you. I mean, this was. It was a tough loss. I mean,
I'll take it. I think this is the Patriots, like the Celtics of the '80s. This might be that time. I remember watching Bird miss the dunk against the Knicks, and that was the last time that they were into that deep into the playoffs.
So let me see if I understand you correctly.
This team,
you think this might be the end of the run?
No, I think they'll make the playoffs.
Oh, I agree with that.
But I think that for this team, this is it. Because I think this is the thing with Brewski and with Seau. This team has a I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
Camaraderie.
No, has a way of filtering out the older players, like not being emotional or sentimental about it.
Right.
Now, do they do that this time? If Brewski wants to come back, if Seau wants to come back, Harrison, all these guys, are they ready to get rid of them?
Yeah, so what you're saying, this core of players is probably it. And I would agree with that 100%. I made a prediction that Tom Brady wouldn't see another Super Bowl only because the odds are, going to 4 and 7 years, again, they're going to be competitive.
Yep.
And I think it's just a matter of assembling another team before
that's the key.
Brady starts to decline. And I hate to say 4 or 5 years because they'll be a lot older.
Right.
But, certainly they're going to be good. And Belichick seems like he doesn't want to quit anytime soon. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this loss affects them. Again, they could have been. They would have sealed their fate forever.
They went from the greatest, really, I think they went from the greatest team ever to just a
maybe
team
one of
that
the
may
biggest.
be in flux.
And I hate to say it. Hobbs said it. Maybe this could be one of the biggest chokes, dare I say, of all time. Not
That's
because
close.
they played bad, not because they turned it over 5 times, but because. The platinum ring was right there. 19 and 0, like we talked about. You couldn't have argued against this team.
It happens
forever.
It happens. Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas.
That's another good analogy.
It happens,
unfortunately, the Patriots are
they're on the other side this time.
that end, and they know how the Rams feel back in 2001. But
there's no doubt about it.
it was a good game. It was a good game as far as being close. The Patriots have given us 4 great Super Bowls as far as interest, watching them right to the end.
Exciting. The thing that I also am not happy with is that the Manning brothers have gone back-to-back.
Boy, that stinks.
Not a big fan of the Manning brothers.
Most Patriot fans aren't.
No, they
and
are
to be
not.
beaten by 2 Manning brothers.
No, it's not.
Let's give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
What are the odds of 2 brothers? I don't care if your father was an NFL quarterback or not.
Right.
Playing in the NFL, let alone winning Super Bowls in consecutive years.
Right. Now we're going to have to listen to a whole year of
commercials.
Peyton versus Eli in next year's Super Bowl. We're going to have to listen to, it's never been done, brother against brother. And I don't think the Giants even get close to the Super Bowl next year. That's how I feel.
Well, that could be. They got their own issues with Strahan. But, I think if you're a Giant fan, I think that the one good thing that you take out of this is it seems like Eli has grown a little bit.
Yeah, he has matured.
Some guys are late bloomers. He doesn't have the personality of his brother. He doesn't exude the confidence his brother does. But you know what? Right. People say, "Oh, Eli was lucky." Okay, yeah, he might have been a little lucky, but you know what? He played a pretty good game.
I'm a realist, too. The Patriots had luck as well. The Tuck rule.
No, I agree with you.
There's an ounce of luck in every win.
I'm glad you said that because that is true, and a lot of people weren't happy when we said, "Hey, the Patriots were like, you're just jealous." Yeah, I am jealous, but
we all are.
Every Super Bowl team has a run of luck.
Oh, absolutely.
72 Dolphins won a lot of close games.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that because I think this game was good in the fact that there wasn't really any controversy.
No, not at all.
People can talk about that fumble all they want. He should have challenged it. You know what? When you're at the bottom of the pile, let's face it. Unless the referee blows a whistle, that ball is live.
Oh, they're biting.
I don't care who.
They're poking
I don't
each
care
other.
who bounces on it. All the ex-players say it. There was really no flags, no referees didn't have power. It was just a good football game, and the Giants got a couple breaks. The Patriots didn't, which has happened reversely a few times. So,
I just want to say one last thing about the Patriots. Let's go Red Sox.
Let's go Red Sox.
We got the Sox coming up.
Well, Frenchie, thank you for coming on.
It's been my pleasure. It really has.
We'll see what happens down the road. We're thinking of a new sports show. We'll let you know. It's a little bit off season, so maybe we'll come back bigger and stronger. And
there'll be something here for baseball season. Celtics. There's a lot of stuff going on.
We got a lot of stuff coming up. So thank you for watching. Sorry, Patriot fans, and put a cap on the football season.